Happy Halloween, happy Samhain, happy All Hallows Eve. People in the Southern Hemisphere, happy Beltane. Happy May Day, because it's kind of it all gets turned around, or should be, on the other side of the world. I thought I would do something spooky today, and I did actually put out a video saying, does anyone have any requests? I had lots of responses, but no requests. And initially I thought I could read the Raven by Poe, the best of the Teletubbies. But I saw somebody else that I follow is doing the same, so I thought, well, I won't do that, at least not initially. If people really want me to read Poe, then I will. Send me a request and I'll read The Raven, because that's a great fun to read. This one is a bit more challenging and also a bit different, so I hope you'll enjoy this. So this is the challenge of this is it's all written in Scottish dialect, which I've got to try and work my way through. And so anybody's Scottish, you're going to hate this. Please be gentle with me. So Robert Burns, the Bard of Scotland, the absolutely beloved Scottish poet. So this is, as you can see, 92. So scored, of the 100, the survey that brought about this book of top 100 poems. Now, I'm not sure whether his most famous one is the one about disturbing a mouse when he was ploughing. The one that goes, "We could and Dummer's Beastie." And I'm not sure if that's in. It must be in here, mustn't it? I must check, but I'm not sure it is. Which would be very odd, really. So perhaps maybe Scotland was underrepresented in this survey. So yeah, and I will pause a little bit just to explain some of the terminology where I know what there are lots of things in here I don't know what they mean, and there's a few things I've looked up and a few things I can guess. So we'll work it out between us, okay? It's quite long, so make yourself comfortable. I will put the camera over the words so you can read along. But if you want to kind of, sit down by a blazing fire and drink scotch while you listen to this, then by all means do that, and close your eyes. There's no need to watch the screen if you want to really feel the atmosphere of this poem. So, okay, so here we go. So first of all, to say that this is just to set the context. This is kind of it's a humorous poem about a guy that spends too much time down the pub, and on his way home, all hell literally breaks loose. So it's perfect for Halloween. When chapman bullies leave the street and through the neighbours meet, as market days are wearing light and folk begin to tack the gate. Well, we wait boozing at the nappy and getting fou and unco happy. We think now on the long Scots miles, the mosses water slaps and stiles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brews like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. So, this, you can see this is, quite sexist, quite old school kind of indoors humour, but, this was from the 18th century. Okay, so Chapman Billies, that was something that didn't make sense to me, so I did look this up some while ago actually. Chapman Billies are market traders, or people that street sells people, and I think TomO'shanter is he's either a farmer that is going to market at a particular time, or he is one of these Chapman Billies, because it seems to be that after market is when he drinks. And then the nappy, just through guesswork, that's got to be the pub, isn't it? While we sit boozing at the nappy and getting fou and unco happy. So fou is full, unco. So yeah, unco is the word that comes up a lot in this. I think it means, you can kind of translate it as very, really. I think it kind of actually means uncommonly, or particularly would be a good translation, but I don't know for sure. That's guesswork. And then we've got this little kind of like prologue to the first stanza, which seems to be a bit kind of tourist information, tourist promotion. This truth found honest TomO'shanter, as he for the air aye night did canter. Old air whom never a town surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. Okay, so it's just telling you that our tale is set in Ayr, which is a Scottish town. Canter, of course, he's on a pony. Or he uses a pony to get home. So yeah, more scene sitting. Okay, right, so let's have a bit more. O Tam, hadst thou but been sae wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice. She told thee well thou was a scullum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that frae November till October, aye market day thou was nae thou nae was sober, that ilka melder wi the miller, thou sat as long as thou had siller, and every naig was caught a shoe on the smith, and thee got roaring fooan, that as the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank with Kurt and Jean till Monday. She prophesied that later soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched up wi warlocks in the mirk, by Alloway's old haunted kirk. So, okay, that's setting the scene. That's kind of giving you a little foreshadowing of what is to come. Okay, let's turn the page on this old battered, much loved book. Gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how many counsels sweet, how many length and sage advices the husband frae the wife despises. So, in other words, husbands don't listen to their wife's good advice. But to our tale, aye market night, Tam had got planted unco right, fast by an ingle blazing finely, wi' reamin swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow suitor Johnny, his ancient trusty drew the crony. Tam loved him like a very brother, they had been foe for weeks together. The night driv on wi' songs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with secret favours sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was a ready chorus. The storm without might rear and rustle, Tam didna mind the storm a whistle. Okay, so he's sitting in the pub, ingle, I guess that's like an ingle nook, fire blazing. So suitor, I don't know what suitor is, but Johnny must be his friend, I think, really. His ancient trusted Druthie is drunken crony. So his drinking buddy. And yeah, and he's starting to kind of get a bit frisky with the landlady. So he's, yeah. So this is a salutary tale, really. You know, our Tam is Tam, of course, is Tam. You know, he's a naughty man. So this is a kind of tale of what happens to you know, unfaithful drunken husbands, really. Anything else from there that we need to? No, I think that kind of all makes sense. Okay. Care made to see a man sae happy, even drowned himself among the nappy, as bees fly home with lades of treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the hills, or all the ills of life victorious. Yeah, so that sounds a bit like that kind of feeling that you get when you're drunk, when you feel on top of the world and there's no problems and everything is great. So he's victorious over all the ills of life, but wait and see. Right, okay, bear with me. I need to readjust my position here. I need an assistant to hold this for me. Don't want to be an assistant job vacancy. But pleasures are like poppies spread. You seize the floor, its bloom is shed. Or like the snow falls in the river, a moment whites then melts forever. Or like the borealis race that flit ere you can point their place. Or like the rainbow's lovely form, vanishing amid the storm. Sorry. Nae man can tether time or tide, the hour approaches Tam on ride. That hour a night's black arch, the key stay in the dreary hour, Tam mounts his beast in. And second night he takes the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. So it's time to go home, in other words. He's getting on his pony. The wind blew as 'twas blown its last, the rattling shores rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, low deep and long the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the devil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his good blue bonnet, was crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, was glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where ghasts and hoolets nightly cry. Yeah, I have to look up Kirk Alloway and find out if it's actually a, you know, properly well-known haunted place or something that he's made up. Boggles, yeah, boggles are kind of folkloric kind of monsters, aren't they? I can't remember exactly what a boggle is, but it's like a goblin or something along those lines. By this time he was crossed the ford, where in the snow the chapman snored, and past the birks and makel stain, where drunken Charlie Bracksnick bane, and through the whins and by the cairn, where Hunter found his murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mither hanged hersel, before him doon poured all his floods, the doubling storm roars through the woods. Oh, semicolon right at the bottom, so that means we've got to keep reading. Oh, sorry for the suspense. Right, okay. The lightning flashed from pole to pole, near and more near the thunder's roll, and glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a bleeze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Okay, so he's going past lots of spooky places where people were murdered and things like that, and then he sees this spooky church as if it's lit up, as if it's on fire. Okay, all right. Sorry about this. I've told you before, this channel has that we've never heard of the word slick on this channel. We have no style, but we do have content. What better content can you have than this? Really? I mean, think about it. No other channel is going to give you this. No other channel is going to give you this. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. With Tiffany, we fairny evil, we Usquaby will face the devil. This what say reamed in Tammy's noddle, fair play he cared nae deals a boddle. But Maggie stood right ere astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished she ventured forward in the light, and woe, Tam saw an unco sight. Okay, so John Barleycorn, that's referring to whiskey. So barley obviously make beer and whiskey comes from that. John Barleycorn is a folkloric kind of character, and a bit like Jack Frost, I guess. So it's like the personification of barley that makes the drink. And so Tom's saying basically he's Dutch courage, that he's drunk, so therefore he's not frightened yet. He thinks he can take on anything, but kind of things are starting to get a bit weird. Now I don't know who Maggie is. I think Maggie is kind of some kind of witch-like figure. So I'm not sure about that. Maybe somebody could help me with that one. I can explain that one. Right, okay, so we've got a good chunky bit now. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion Brent, nae frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathsprays and reels, put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east. There sat old Nick in shape a beast, with twosie tyke black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and girt them skirl till roof and rafter did a dell. Coffins stood up like open presses that shawed the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip slight, each in his cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the haly table the murderer's banes in gibbet ends, twa spa long way and christened bairns. Oh, hang on, and this is semicolon as well, so we'll keep going. A thief new cutted frae a rape, wi his last gasp did gab but gape. 5 tomahawked with blood red crusted, 5 scimitars were murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain so o life bereft, the grey hair as yet stacked to the left. Heft, we mair a horrible and awful, which even to name would be unlawful. Right, so that's quite a stanza. So that's kind of saying. Yeah, lots of, it's going back to this thing again, isn't it? Of lots of kind of, first of all, we have places where evil things had happened, and now we've got objects, things that bones from a gibbet, and things that have murdered people, and so a thief new cutted free a rape, a free third. So that a rape is a rope, I think. So he's been cut down, a hanged thief that's been cut down from. A gibbet, I think that's what that means. Yes. So kind of evil things are afoot. As Tommy glowed, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they click it, till ilka carol and swat and reek it. They coast their duddies to the work and link it at it in the stark. Right, no idea what coosting your duddies means. Work would be work. Link it to the start, yeah. A lot of references to Cutty Sark in this. I don't know, that's something else I need to look up. No Tam, oh Tam, had they been queens a plump a stepping up their teens, their sarks instead of Cretan flannin, been Snow White 1700 linen. Their breeks of mine, my only pair, that once were plush your good blue hair. I would ha' given them off my hurdles, for I blink oh the bonny hurdles, birdles. I think this is something about attractive women, I think. But withered bedlams, but withered I told you this would be hard. But withered beldams, old and droll, rigwoody hags would speen a foal, looping and flinging on the crummock. I wonder, didn't it turn the stomach? So I've got another one beginning at the bottom of the page. But Tam kenned what was foo brawly. There was a awesome wench and Wally that night enlisted in the Corps. Nearly at the end. Stay with us. You wish you hadn't started this now. Long after kenned on Carrick shore for many a beast had dead, she shot and perished many a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and bear, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark o' Paisley harn, that while lassie she had worn in longitude, though sorely scanty, was in her best, and she was vaunty. Oh, little kenned thy reverend granny, what sark she coft for her wee nanny. Wi' 2 pound Scots, 'twas a' her riches, would ever grace the dance o' witches. Yeah, not quite sure about that one. That one needs some more research. But here my muse, her wingman core, sic flights are far beyond her power to sing how Nanny lap and flung, a supple jad she was and strung, and how Tim stood like one bewitched, and thought this very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged for fain, and hotched and blew wi' might and main, till first a caper sin another, some tint his reason altogether. And rose a well done, Cutty Sark, and in an instant all was dark, and scarcely he had Maggie rallied when out the hellish legion sallied. Okay. Yes. As bees buzz out wi' angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their bike, and open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, a witches follow, wi' many an eldritch screech and hollow. Ah Tam, thou'll get thy fare in hell thou'll roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystane of the brig. There at them thou tail may toss, and running stream they darena cross. But ere the keystane she should make, the faint tail she had to shake. For Nanny, far beyond the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle, but little wist she Maggie's mettle. Aye, springboard of her master hail, but left behind her ain grey tail. Carlin clot her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. I wonder if Maggie is actually Meg. I think Maggie and Meg is the same thing, isn't it? Because Meggie or Maggie, don't know. Right, here we go. So, right. Nearly at the end. Now while this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son take heed. When they're to drink ye are inclined, their cutty sarks run in your mind. Think ye by the joys, oh dear, remember TomO'shanter's mare. Oh, that's it. That's the end. Yeah, Maggie's the horse that gets him out of trouble. So this is about how basically men are idiots, women are scolds, and it's our noble kind of workhorse that saves the day. I think that's what this one's about. Yeah, more research to be done. If anybody can shed any more light on this one, have a bit of discussion, that would be great. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't mangle it too much. I hope I haven't, horribly offended any die-hard Scottish Burns fans. And if you actually like this stuff, consider subscribing. I tend to do videos on all kinds of things, not just this stuff. Give us a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, just quietly go away and tell no one. Rangimarie.